Yo, this is Teresa Weatherspoon, better known as Teaspoon, and you're watching Real Fans, Real Talk.
Live from the can. Vibe the can.
This is Real Fans, Real Talk. Real fans, real talk. We as real as you thought. Real fans.
What's going on? Welcome to another live edition of Real Fans, Real Talk. We got a couple of special guests that's going to be joining us tonight. A lot of big things went down in the sports world. Big boxing fight, Terrence Crawford becomes the undisputed champion, beating Canelo Alvarez, which we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Week 2 in the NFL is almost over. 2 games going on tonight. And then Major League Baseball, Yankees looking really good right now. Mets not so much, unfortunately, for my co-host Eric Sanchez. But we do have a special guest that I'm going to bring on in just a minute, because we have another basketball legend in the building who I'm excited about, especially. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later too. The WNBA playoffs just started. Of course, the New York Liberty did what they were supposed to do yesterday as well. They're trying to get that championship back to back. So, we're going to talk about the WNBA playoffs in just a minute. But let me introduce a member of the Indiana Hall of Fame, University of Cincinnati alum, the woman who has the most points in the game at George Washington High School, a 3-time All-American, Miss Basketball, 3-time Conference Player of the Year. You know what? No, I just got to bring on right now. It's too much going on. I need to bring her to the stage. Cheryl Cook, welcome to Real Fans, Real Talk. We appreciate you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm grateful for you all having me.
Appreciate you coming through. We've been getting hit up the past 2 weeks. As soon as we scheduled you, we've been getting hit up with the supporters. Hey, listen, yeah, we got our questions ready. We've been doing our homework. They ready to talk to you. I'm definitely ready to talk to you. Let me go on to one of these fan questions. First of all, shout out to Kyrie Thompson. He was in here early today. He was in here at 12:23 this afternoon, sending in these comments for you. So he
Okay,
says,
my brother.
Miss Cook, talk about your upbringing growing up in Indiana. Did you have a big family?
I had a very big family. It was 8 of us, and I had 6 brothers, 2 sisters, and I was fortunate enough to hone in my basketball skills from Naptown at that Tallville area. So I'm very proud of where I come from, and I'm hopeful that I've made everybody proud in the state of Indiana.
Nah, that's a beautiful thing. Shout out to Kyrie. Shout out to Pooh, who says, who was the first to put that rock in your hands?
The neighborhood, my brothers, and it was God, right? This is all by divine intervention. I had a dream and said, guess what? This is what I wanted to do as a career. At that time, it was not popular. But my city is my state is a basketball state, so I had no choice, and I'm glad because I was able to see every country in the world. So, but yeah, I would say my brothers, and I also would say the city of Indianapolis and the state of Indiana.
All right, so I want to go back. We're gonna take it back a little bit to high school. Most points in the game at George Washington High School. Just talk about the experience during your high school career, and then being a 3-time All-American.
Folks don't know this, but I was a 3-sport All-American. I ran the state track. I won the state track in hurdles, 110-meter hurdles, and I played volleyball. I was an All-American, and I was fortunate enough to pick that ball up, and I became a 3-time All-American, 3 sports All-American. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Love it. Pool says, when did basketball somewhat become easy to you?
I knew I had a knack for the game. I was a student of the game. This is when it wasn't popular for women to play basketball. But I did a lot of reading, and I made it sure that I honed in on being a student of the game first. And then I knew I wanted to be great. So, my mother was fortunate enough to give me a personal trainer. His name is Lyman Battles, for the Police Athletic League. And he helped hone me. And, I had coaches as well in Indianapolis as well, Coach Payne. But my beginnings, my humble beginnings were, if this is what you want to do, we're going to assist you to do it. And I didn't have a normal childhood at all. And I don't take anything for granted. I'm humbled. But I started it. They said, if this is what you want to do, let's get it. And while my friends was out playing, I was honing in on my sport to make sure that I was the best at it. And I didn't care. It was all about winning, and it was all about team, and it was all about staying humble and remember your humble beginnings.
So now, when you putting up these 51 points, that's the school record. What's going through your mind? Because it's like at that point, the basket got to be 8 feet wide for you. After the first 20, you was cooking. So just like talk to us about that night.
You know what? Let me just say, it wasn't just me. It was a accumulation of family support. It was accumulation of community support. Um, that night was so surreal because I knew that we were onto something. When they gave me the ball, and the expectations was, guess what? We know this is what you can do. We know that you've worked hard for it. And I'm telling you, every time I touched it, fortunately, I couldn't miss. And I ended up having 51, and it still stands to this day. And I just have a lot of people to thank, because it just wasn't about Cheryl Cook. It was about representing George Washington, because we had some legends come out of there, and I just wanted to be one of them.
Got you. Let me go to Ron. Ron says he wants to know about any state titles in high school. In your senior year, you averaged 29.7 points a game, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, all around play. So that's almost Oscar Robertson numbers there.
You know what? Let me pay homage to Oscar Robinson. He was from Indianapolis as well. He went to George Washington, and I had studied him as well. I studied Steve Downing, Billy Keller, Larry Bird, all of these guys. So I knew that I wasn't trying to be any of those guys. I just wanted to be Cheryl Cook, and I wanted to ensure that I represented my state as well as my family and my community well, by staying humble. Yes, I averaged 29.8 points a game, and, 3-time All-American, and had an opportunity to go over 300 schools. And, I just give thanks to God and give thanks to the coaches and my teammates, because without them, none of this would be possible.
Okay, so why the University of Cincinnati? Because you just said you had over 300 schools that you could have went to. What made you come to that decision?
I was so used to and accustomed to my city and my state and my parents being able to see me play, and my brothers. I knew for a fact that the colleges at that time made promises to you that will fly your parents and fly your family to every game. And I knew up the road was Cincinnati, and actually they stressed academics, and my mother was real heavy with academics, and we're talking about, if you didn't, get the grades, you couldn't play. No matter how good you were, you're not bigger than the game. So why I chose Cincinnati is because, again, it was close proximity to Indianapolis, and I was able to have fans from Indianapolis, family support, to come up and see me play.
Mm. Okay, so what would you say at that time the top 5 schools that recruited you?
UCLA, South Carolina, Old Dominion was a big school at that time. And I would say, who else? Old Dominion, University of South Carolina, UCLA, and also I would say USC, University of North Carolina, and I can go on.
Now, is this US? This is USC while Cheryl Miller is still there.
Cheryl Miller is probably a year younger than me. So she
Okay.
wasn't there at that time.
Okay. All right. Michael Alexander says you win Miss Basketball in 1981. What did winning that mean to you?
You know what? As a matter of fact, I can actually vividly remember this. I was in class, and they made an announcement over the loudspeaker, and they announced me as the 1981 Indiana's Miss Basketball. And I'm like, you know what? This goes to, again, the city. This goes to the state of Indiana for actually saying, you know what? You're the best of the best. You are the best. And I'm able to wear jersey number 1 for Indiana's Miss Basketball. So that was a humbling experience. I was excited. My teammates were excited. I'm hopeful that I know for a fact George Washington High School was excited, because guess what? There's a lot of legends that came before me. So when they gave me that opportunity to represent wearing Indiana's Miss Basketball number 1 jersey, I did not appreciate that. I was so excited, and I had to run home and share with the family, because all my hard work had paid off.
And then now you mentioned you were All-American in 3 sports. Shout out to Tito. He says, Cheryl, you were a track and field star too.
Yes. I end up again winning the state. I wasn't supposed to win the state. I was second best. I always had the second best time in the state and also in the nation. And and with my competitive spirit, I say, guess what? I have nothing to lose. I have everything to win. And I knew for a fact that I've always carried the state of Indiana on my back. And I say, guess what? Whatever I got to do, I'm going to do. So I prepared long and hard, and I became, that state champion in the 110-meter hurdle. So I'm ever grateful. I'm humbled, and I represented my city well.
So basketball, track and field, and the third sport?
Volleyball.
Volleyball, okay. What was that like? What was your volleyball experience like in high school?
You know what? I was a jumper, right? So it was nothing for me to spike the ball over the net and send the ball, where the girls cannot retrieve it. But being a part of that team, and also I had also had a personal trainer that also, he was an actual college athlete at that time. And he came and he put in time with me because he saw the ability that I had to be possibly an Olympian volleyball player or track runner for the Olympics or basketball. So he honed in on me, and every day I practiced whatever I needed to do to be great. That's what it was going to be. And I practiced, and thank God the results end up being that. And, I end up being a 3-sport All-American.
Did you, in college though, you only play basketball?
Yes, I only play basketball. Exactly.
Did they want you to run track or play volleyball, or they just wanted you to focus solely on basketball?
I had an opportunity to run track for the University of Cincinnati, but I just chose to concentrate on my grades first and then concentrate on basketball, because again, with prayer and, my humble beginnings, it was basketball. That's my love, basketball.
What was your major?
Communications.
Okay. Let me go to G Suave. He wants to know, did Bobby Knight recruit you?
Yes, he did.
Wow. Okay. So because this is legendary coach Bobby Knight we talking about here. So
yes.
Did he reach out to you directly? Did he reach out to your coach, your family? How was that?
He reached out to me directly. And it was a solid conversation in regards. It was a serious conversation that he was looking for a point guard, and not a one-dimensional point guard. And I tried to ensure that, that I played defense first, and then it constituted in me being an excellent offensive player. So he reached out to me and my parents, and he said I wanted her to come and be, because I was being recruited by Indiana University for women as well. And so when he did that, I was humble, and I said, you know what, I appreciate it, and I'm glad that you appreciate my ability. But he was a major coach, and with great outstanding and knowledge of the game.
And you were also a Converse All-American.
Yes.
So what? Okay, so what is that like? What's the
Well,
difference between that and the regular All-American?
Well, the Converse All-American is where it was one of those prestigious All-American teams that not a lot of folks make, right? You had Street and Smith All-American. I made Street and Smith All-American as well. But those different entities, they concentrated on the best of the best. And I was fortunate enough to be given the Converse All-American as well as Street and Smith All-American as well.
All right. Ron says, talk about the process of making the 1983 World Championships team. Was it a tryout? Were you confident you could make that team?
You know what? I'm so glad that Ron asked me this question because, no one, me personally, I had everything to gain and nothing to lose. And you had over 500 women there, right? And they had already played on previous international teams, and I hadn't. And when I got there, I went there with my mentor, my surrogate father, and it was just me and him and my coach. And I'm like, you know what? I can do this, right? Did a lot of praying, did a lot of soul searching, and saying, guess what? You want to show people what you got? Now is the time. So I get to Colorado Springs. There's 500 women trying to vie for 12 positions. And I had more to lose. Like I said, I had to do something that no other women were thinking about doing. And that was playing defense, right? Because we knew that I knew I could score. I knew I could score on the best. I could score with the best. But what got me on that team was playing defense. And I'm happy about that because defense, a lot of folks don't talk about that because everybody want to be a scorer. But I made sure that I had an all-around game, not just an offensive player, but a defensive player as well. So that's what got me on the team. And as a matter of fact, when I was named to the team, this would have been my first international team. They gave me a jersey that was already pre-planned out. So they crossed Yvette Angel's name out with white tape that you tape your ankles with, and they put Cook on it, right? So I did show them. I did come prepared, mentally prepared. And when I made it, and I was the top 12 in the world to make it, again, I'm always going to rely on my faith, and I'm always going to rely on my ability. So no matter who was in front of me, I was able to say I can compete with the best.
Now, as great as you were on defense, though, like we act like you weren't just as great on the offensive end of the basketball, because you are still, if I'm not mistaken, the all-time points leader at Cincinnati, as well as your high school.
Yes, 41 years later.
Okay, so because I know you was really great on defense too, but we got to talk about the offensive accolades as well, because that's a big deal. Still having the record, the all-time record for points scored in both your high school and college. That's a very big deal. So,
and that's what I want. And that's what I want young people, not to cut you off, and that's what I want young people to understand, that defense translates into offense, right? And if you're a student of the game, you know that. And I want you to know that. And my defense, I took pride in defense. Whatever my team needed, I took pride in, whether if they needed a key rebound, and this is international competition as well. If they need the assist, if they need me to score, then that's what I was going to do. So I was never one-dimensional. And I'm just happy that God, graced me to have this ability. And I'm forever grateful.
Let me go to Pooh has a question. You guys lost twice. You guys lost to USSR 85-84 and then 84-82. What was it that y'all couldn't get past them? And she says Julana Samova was a beast.
Uliana Simonova, she was 7'6", and we end up beating them for the only U.S. team ever to beat the U.S. the Russians when it counted. So we beat the Russians. We won a gold medal. I was happy about that because we couldn't get over that hump as a U.S. basketball team. And we did that. And we had an amazing team assembled. And me personally, I call it the best team ever. We did it. I was glad to be able to represent my country. And I'm glad to bring home the gold.
Oh, did you say she was 7'6"? Is that what you said?
7'6". Her name is Uliana Semenova. She's passed away. Let her rest in peace. But 7'6".
Who was the tallest person on y'all team, on the U.S. team at that time?
He was 6'10", and Donovan for Old Dominion. That was our center.
Wow. Okay. And then you were also a 3-time Metro Conference Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Me personally, I was never a player that set out to, get accolades or, it's a team sport. There's no I in team. And again, whatever my team needed, if they needed me to score, then that's what I was going to do. If they needed me to rebound, that's what I was going to do. And I'm fortunate enough for the committee to see my ability on the court and what I can do. And yes, I was 3-time Metro Player of the Year, and I'm pretty proud of that. But most importantly, I'm proud because I've had teammates that, guess what? It took those folks to give me the ball. It took those folks to have confidence in me, to ensure that, guess what? They knew where my spots were on the court. They knew, and guess what? I played 5 positions. So you really couldn't deny that. So whatever my team needed, and like I said, it's a team sport. So without them, there's no me.
Hey, for everybody that's watching, I know some people hit me up saying that the live on Facebook wasn't working. So don't worry, I'm gonna post the interview once we get off the air tonight. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna send it straight over to Facebook. So if you couldn't get on the live on Facebook, you'll be able to watch it right after. But if not, you can still get on the live on YouTube. We just throw the YouTube up. You guys, youtube.com/For the Fans Productions. You can always go to the YouTube or to the website to realfansrealtalk.com and you can watch it as well. I do have a question from Facebook though. Shout out to Imani. She wants me to ask you how it was playing with LaTanya Pollard.
You know what? LaTanya Pollard was the best to ever do it. She was the best shooter that I've ever seen in this game. And I don't think they give her enough credit, but I'm going to pay homage to her. She was the best out of Gary, Indiana. And when I met her, she was just an amazing person, more so than an amazing basketball player. But when you talk about outstanding players, she should be one of the players that we most definitely hone in on. And LaTanya Pollard was not only a great player, she was a great teammate. We won together. We cried together, and guess what? We both were from Indiana, so that's what made me most proud.
Let me see what we got over here. Hold on one second. Well, okay, you know what? Actually, this is something that I want to know. Your top 5 all-time women's college basketball players.
I would say Cheryl Miller, number 1, Lynette Woodard, 2. LaTanya Pollard is up there. Janet Lawrence, Braxton Lawrence, and hell, I'm gonna put my name in it. Cheryl Cook.
Love it. All right, let me go to G Suave. He says, then in 1983 Pan Am Games, y'all win gold going 5-0. How was it playing for Pat Summitt? A lot of OGs say this roster can go against any USA team.
That's the roster that I was speaking about. I'll put that team up against any team. And to be able to play for Coach Summitt, let her rest in peace, taught me a great deal about being a student of the game, making sure that you concentrate on the little things, making sure that we practice how we played, making sure that we believed in each other. And it took to all of us to win that gold medal. And I'm forever grateful for Pat. I'm forever grateful for the lessons that she taught me. And I stand on some of those principles today with the work that I do today.
All right. And hold on. I see one more from G Suave. He wants to know about Janice Lawrence.
Janice Lawrence Braxton, let me tell you about her. Janice Lawrence was about 6'2", and I might give or take a couple inches. And she did a bank shot. That's when nobody was doing banks. And that was her primary weapon that she had. But not only was she, like I said, she was one of the best power forwards there was. Humble, you know, just an all around great person, great teammate. And even to this day, Janet and I become, you know, we're still good friends. Matter of fact, I just so happened to see her, and I didn't know she was living in Ohio as well as myself. And we ran into each other and we hugged it. And we just, once a teammate's always a teammate, it's about a sisterhood. And that's the sisterhood that I wear down for the University of Cincinnati. Let me throw in the plug. And you know, when you play with great players and you become family, because we traveled so much together, we practiced so much together, you do become family. So she's one of the best to ever do it as well.
What is it like for you going back to Cincinnati?
You know, it's always a treat to be able to breathe life into these young people and let them know that, guess what, our women's basketball is in a great position to be able to make a difference and make the money that we deserve, and be able to travel and have the first class endorsement deals. So I'm excited. I always want to go back. I always go back to make sure I'm being supportive of these next young women that are in line to do great things. And Katrina McClain, let me talk about the coach for a second. She's from Indianapolis as well. And when I tell you, a class act with her staff, she's doing some good things. And I'm excited about this year, excited about the new sisterhood that we have. And folks need to watch out because UC's coming.
Love it. And Lynette Woodard, what made her so great?
I can actually remember because she put in the time and she put in the effort. And 3:00 in the morning, you can hear somebody at the top of the building that we were in, and we were in the athletic village. She's up there jumping rope, and I get up and I go up and I see, and it's wood. And I'm like, what's going on? She's just preparing. Her preparation was out of sight. Her and I also ended up trying out for the Harlem Globetrotters together. And I don't think a lot of folks know that. But when I tell you a class act, she's a class act. She coached at the University of Kansas as well. She played here in Ohio with the Cleveland Rockers. And I also want to talk a little bit about that because I'm hopeful that, that I'm going to manifest through your show. That's where it's going to lead me, being a player personnel in some capacity, whether it's if I can be a player development personnel, because the Rockers are coming back here to Cleveland. I just want to be a part of that franchise.
So that would be dope. We definitely going to speak that into existence.
Absolutely.
All right, let me go to Ron. He wants to know, he says, Cheryl Miller, you played with her, practiced with her. Was the hype real? What made Cheryl good as a player to you?
Cheryl was good because of the size that she had, the things that she can do with her size. She was a go-getter. She was hungry. It was all about team with her. But now when you talk about GOATs, I would say that's my GOAT because of the fact that having that size and that ability to be able to score wherever on the floor, you give her the ball, all you have to do is move out of the way, right? So I just respect her ability and her size and the things that she can do. And she was a winner. She was a champion.
All right. Now, you also get inducted into the Cincinnati Hall of Fame in 1995. Mm-hmm. So, because we don't always get our flowers while we're here. So just talk to us about that moment and what it meant to you to be honored in that way.
You know what? It was an accumulation of things. That's where you want to always put your career to rest. But I didn't set out to be in the Cincinnati Basketball Hall of Fame. Like I said, it took a lot of folks to be on my side to support me throughout this process. I was grateful and thankful that Cincinnati saw enough of me to retire my jersey and be the only female. Number 24 still hangs in the rafters. But I just want to pay homage. There's a heck of a lot of folks that I can thank, starting with my mother, my brothers, my sisters, the community, Hallville, the University of Cincinnati, because again, for them to recognize me and say, guess what, you're the best to do it, to ever do it here. I really appreciate it. I love them for it. And when I walk into the stadium, that jersey doesn't just represent it. Yes, it has my name on the back, but it's an accumulation of people that helped me to be successful, not just in basketball, but just in life.
All right. Kyrie Thompson says, in the 1984 USA team, tell us a story on how you got injured and couldn't play on that roster.
Well, what happened was, unfortunately, when you make the Pan Am team, you're a shoe-in for the Olympics. So that night when I flew into Colorado, we just had a free-spirited shoot around, and Cheryl attempted to block my shot. I in turn came down on her foot, and I was being sponsored by ASIC Tiger at that time. So one thing I can say about the athletic department, they did everything that they can do. They even built a cask inside of my shoe, and folks don't know that. And I was determined to make that team, but unfortunately, the way things ended up, the injury was so bad to the point where, that I didn't. But I have no regrets. Things happen, and when you have bad luck on one end, God always say, I'm going to open another door for you. So I went on to play 15 years overseas and make good money. And so one bad thing always lead to a good thing. You just got to stand on your faith, as I do.
Now, overseas, Europe, but I guess the bulk in Spain.
Yes.
Was that a culture shock for you immediately going from, that area where you're from, the United States? Now you're in a place where the language is completely different, the people, the culture, everything is different. So was that a culture shock for you when you first arrived?
It was, being 20, 21, you landed in a city, and in a country that you don't know the language, you don't know the currency. My mother always told me when I was in high school, she was like, Cookie, you got to take Spanish. And I'm like, I'm never going to go to Spain. And fortunately enough, once I graduated and came off that stage, my agent said, Cookie, guess where you're going? You're going to Spain. So I ended up in Madrid at first. And again, being 20, 21, it was a culture shock, but the ball was the same.
Yes.
So once I got to the gym, hey, I was where I needed to be. And I ended up leading the whole country in scoring at 38 points a game. So like I tell you, God's show has a funny way of showing up, and I'm always going to stand on my faith. But it was a culture shock. The food, I end up immersing myself. I took a crash course at the University of Madrid because I thought that they were ripping me off and I wasn't getting all my money. So I would call my agent and I'm like, Bruce, I'm not getting all my money. At that time, $10,000 a month was a lot to some people. It was a lot to me. And he was like, Cookie, you are. But they were actually ripping me off because I didn't know the currency. And then I took a crash course at the University of Madrid and I knew how to ask for cambio. That means I need my change back. So you immerse yourself in the community, in Madrid, and folks, they were aware of me. I ended up being in the paper. They called me the Michael Jordan, of female basketball while I was over there. I ended up, starting in Madrid. I ended up going to Segovia. Then I went to Tenerife, the south of Spain. And then I ended up in Italy for a stint.
What's the biggest difference, if any, that you saw in the European game as opposed to American game?
Well, I think we were more received overseas, unfortunately, at that time. They were big with women's basketball, right? And you would think in your own country that they would hone in at that time and say, I didn't have to come over here and play. But since I did, the culture I mean, it was all about women's basketball. I'm telling you, stand people. I mean, they're playing drums and it was amazing. And we had sell out arenas. So I didn't miss a beat over there. I'm glad that God was able to bestow that opportunity upon me. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I tell any young people, there's only certain positions, in the WNBA. So don't count yourself out by going overseas. It's tax-free dollars. You're gonna immerse yourself in that culture. They're gonna love you as a women's professional athlete. And so I'll tell any young lady that, guess what? Make sure that you do your homework. Make sure you take the lessons and the language so you can understand. But I had to maneuver, and it ended up being successful. At the end of the day, I had 15 years of successful service over there playing women's basketball.
When did you say, all right, I've done enough, I'm ready to go home, relax?
So I never led a normal life. I never had a normal life. So after my 15th year, me and my mom had a conversation, and she was like, by that time you heard bombings in the city. When I was playing in Budapest, Hungary, I was threatened just by being an American. And I called my mom, and she was like, let's have a conversation. And I think now is the time that you put your basketball to rest, or you can continue, but I want you to come home so you can be safe. So that's when I decided to retire. And a year after, the WNBA came into the picture. And by that time, I had not had a childhood, had not had a normal life. All my life, I've trained to be the best that I can be. So I was ready to go on to something else and lead a normal life.
Was there any part of you that said, let me just go do 1 year in the WNBA?
You know what? I don't have any regrets, but you know what? I still had it in me. But I was just exhausted at that time from going to play overseas, only in the States 3 months. Then I have to go to Colorado Springs and train for the national team. So I was pretty tired. But I don't have any regrets to this day. I don't have any regrets, but I wish I was able to show people what Cheryl Cook was about. But once again, I don't have any regrets. I'm happy for these young ladies in the WNBA. I'm a big supporter, and I'm a big proponent in getting equal pay to play. So I see that happening now. So I stand behind the league, and there's no better way to being able to just stay in your own country and make the money where you don't have to go and supplement it overseas.
Okay, so since now you are a big supporter of the game, that's a 2-part question for you. Who is the top 5 right now in the WNBA, and then who's on your Mount Rushmore?
Top 5 right now, I would say Asia Wilson, number 1. Asia Wilson is number 1. I would say Kelsey Mitchell. I would say the point guard for New York. I like her. I like her game. And I would say Nafisa. I would say her. And I would also say the young lady, the center for the Indiana Fever. I'm sorry, Boston, Aaliyah Boston.
Okay. Okay, and then your Mount Rushmore WNBA players.
Maya Moore, Simone Augustus, Cynthia Cooper. Might be out of order because Coop should have been number 1. I'm gonna say Teresa Witherspoon, and my last one would be Lisa Leslie.
Yeah, listen. First of all, you saw who started the show for us.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
Got nothing but love, and Lisa Leslie. Oh my goodness,
She was the truth. Teresa Witherspoon was the truth. All those young ladies just paved the way, and that's my Mount Rushmore. And I just appreciate everything they've given to women's basketball at this time and then in the past. And I stand on that.
All right. Shout out to Pooh. She wants to know. She says, Cheryl, Miss Tina Hutchinson was on a while ago, and she feels Linda Sharp prevented her from being on the 84 team. Do you feel there's politics involved with USA basketball?
I actually remember Tina Hutchison because we recruited her when she was in high school. I went with my coaches to East St. Louis to recruit her, and she was all that and then some. I don't know, in regard, I knew her of her coach, Mr. Coach Sharp, but there's politics in everything that we do. I'm not here to, I always speak the truth and I'm pretty transparent. But yeah, there's politics, most definitely, because I've had to fight. When I say fight, obviously not physically, but to let them know that guess what? I belong. I belong here. I belong on this national team. But it was also blood, sweat, and tears that I put in. I put in the work to say, guess what? You guys are not going to overlook me. I'm going to show you everything that I got. And guess what? That's the year that Kim Mulkey, was the point guard out of LSU. And I made sure, guess what? She obviously, I like her. She's a wonderful person. She's a wonderful coach at this time. But, politics is in everything. It's in everything, unfortunately. And people just can't hone in on your actual national ability. But Tina Hutchison had it. She had it. And when I tell you score from anywhere in high school, but we tried to get her to come to University of Cincinnati, and that didn't work. But that's okay. So, but she was an amazing player as well.
All right, let me ask you this: who was your toughest guard, and who was the person that would give you fits?
Probably my teammate Cheryl Miller. I went up against her for 3 months competing, but guess what? She thought she was the best. I thought I was the best, right? So what better scenario than put us together on a team? And I know we were, competing against other teams, but we made each other better. I'm hopeful that, she can say the same. But I can tell you, she was one of the toughest guards, and as far as in the United States and overseas, it was a young lady from Brazil. Her name was Hortensia. And when I tell you can do it all, she can do it all. She was a Brazilian player and she played multiple positions. And again, she gave us fits, but we knew how to stop her, because if it's just her that we have to stop, we were going to do that. And no matter what, we were coming home with that medal.
So, all right, because I know sometimes in practices, y'all get the one-on-one going. So did you and Cheryl play one-on-one?
Yeah, Coach Summit was our coach, and she stopped me, and you know what? It didn't sit well with me when she said, because again, I'm going to play defense, and again, I don't care who you put in front of me. So I was playing my toughest defense, because the way you practice is the way you play, and I ensured that she didn't touch the ball. Yes, she got it, but it was a tough matchup. But coach stopped the practice and said, do you know who you are checking? You're checking the best damn player in the world. And with that, it just lit fire in me to say, guess what? I'm one of the best damn players in the world as well, because I've made the top 12 team. And so that right there lit a fire under me that, guess what? It's even lit to this day. Every time I think about it, the job that I do now, I run a juvenile prison. I am competitive, and I don't care what you're talking about. I want to win in every aspect of life.
Love it. Let me go back to G Suave. He says you were the number 6 scorer as a junior, averaging 27.4. Number 2 as a senior, averaging 27.5, getting buckets. How effortless was it for you to get to the basket?
I've been playing with men all my life. Again, when I used to play at the University of Cincinnati, folks don't know it, but Coach Huggins, he knows it as well, because he invited me to come to his practice after our practices. And I practiced with the men after I left the women's practice. And I would go and I would practice with them, and I'm checking a guard, or a guard's checking me, Junior Johnson, and he tried to check me. And I was so used to and accustomed to playing with men my whole life. And that's what, kind of pushed me over the edge of being one of the top players that I am, because of the men. And I practiced with him, and he tried to check me and ended up breaking his finger. So So, I mean, their stories, you know what I'm saying? Their stories. You can ask Coach Huggins about this, and he'll tell you. And then when he also named me the best point guard on campus, I took it as, hey, thank you, but we're here to play. I'm here as a woman basketball player to let them know that guess what, I can do this too. Because I'm telling you, the men back in Indianapolis, Indiana, they prepared me for whatever that was in front of me, and I was a winner. And I wasn't a graceful loser at that time, but I just pay homage to all the men back in Indianapolis and Naptown that helped me get where I am to this day.
I know you talked about it a little bit, but Kyrie wants to know. He says you played in Italy and Spain. Did you really average 38.9 points per game in Spain? Talk about your time playing overseas. Did you play against some names that we may know?
Well, overseas, I played against some top young ladies, but I don't think you guys will remember them. But yes, I averaged 38 points a game in Spain. And then once we got to Italy and once I got to Italy and then I end up averaging 27 over there. So when you make it to overseas to be able to play, they don't take it as a job. That was my job. That was a club sport for them. And I knew that I still had that fire, coming from college, the University of Cincinnati. And this is just what I did. I mean, I respect the game, and I wanted to do the best. I wanted to be one of the best in the game. So that's why I played so hard. And the points came. And I enjoyed all my time overseas. And like I said, I was more than just a scorer. So I just want also folks to understand that as well.
Okay, Pooh wants to know about your tryout with the Harlem Globetrotters.
You know what? I was fortunate enough to be one of the top 10 players in the world to be able to become the first female basketball player to ever play for the Harlem Globetrotters. They flew me out to LA, me and Lynette and 9 others, 10 others, whatever the case may be. And we end up playing. Magic end up being in the stands. Magic Johnson showed us a great time while we were in LA. I knew I had nothing to lose, but I had just signed my biggest contract overseas, and this opportunity would have been great for me. I gave it my all. They were turning me into a dribbler. But when you start talking about politics and everything, I think that took because, Lynette Woodard, she was one of obviously my teammates, but I didn't know at the time that Geese Aubrey was her cousin. So they lined us up, after the final practice. And then when they called her name, the element of surprise were gone, right? You had all the European media here. You had all the national media here. And then, like I said, I had nothing to lose. I had so much to gain. And I always go into tryouts. I always go into practice like that. And I was happy for her. And but also I was most importantly happy for myself because, like I said, I just signed my biggest contract overseas. But yes, I was one of the 10 top women in the world to be invited to try out for the Harlem Globetrotters.
Let me go to Michael Alexander. He says in 1996 the ABL and in 1997 the WNBA starts. Most of your peers came back and finished the second part of their career. Did you give it a thought?
I gave it a thought. I did. But once again, I had my share of travel. I was, the young lady that everybody said, wouldn't go far with women's basketball. I've walked the Great Wall of China. I've been to Africa. I've been Budapest, Hungary. I've been all over. I've been to Cuba. That's just to name a few. So I was happy and I was content. But I also was tired after that because I started this game. When I say this game, I started practicing for this game and to be great at 12. I was practicing becoming a professional athlete at 12. I'm up at 6. I'm in the swimming pool. I'm on the track. They got me running straights and walking the curves. Now I'm in the gym shooting 1,000 shots, 1,000 free throws. And I did this for years. That was my regiment. I couldn't go out and enjoy my friends. I couldn't go to your typical, high school parties or you know what I mean? Yeah. So my mother stated, if this is what you want to do, you're gonna get you a personal trainer. This is what's gonna happen. I did it, and from 12 on to 21, guess what? That was a lot of sacrificing. And after a while, guess what? I have no regrets. I'm blessed.
Let me go to Ron says, Cheryl, how many Hall of Fames are you in? Do you ever sit back and say, I was the ish? Imagine if the WNBA started in 85.
I'm in the Cincinnati Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm in the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm in the American Basketball Hall of Fame. I just went in with Pee Wee Kirkland, so I'll be able to talk about him a little bit, because I just left New York last summer. We did a documentary together, but I'm in the American Basketball Hall of Fame. So it never gets old, and like I said, I'm hopeful that I represented myself. Not only myself, but my university and the city and the state of Indiana. I'm hopeful, because it wasn't just me. It was an accumulation of people that supported me along the way. And I take them into all the Hall of Fames. And I'm forever grateful. And I'm hopeful that I represent everyone well. And if he wants to say I'm the ish, then guess what? I'm the ish.
Gotta love it. All right, so WNBA playoffs going down right now. First of all, who's your pick to win the championship? And you don't have to just say that Liberty gonna win back to back just for me, support. But
No.
Who you taking?
I'm honest. It's going to be between. I'm taking Vegas. I got to take Vegas because of their depth. Okay, brother. But I think it's going to be between the New York Liberty as well and Vegas.
Okay.
And I got to take Vegas. I got to take Asia Wilson, because she's the truth. When I tell you she's the truth, she's the truth. With that size and that mobility, and to be able to shoot threes and you know what I mean? I just like how she plays. And but again, anything can happen, but I'm gonna stand with Vegas.
Did you feel like she was the clear MVP of this season? Because I've been saying for the last couple of weeks that I think with the stretch of wins they had and the dominant play, that she kind of put the stamp on the MVP.
That's where I think that was an accumulation of that. I think that's when she stamped it with the 30 points performance and the 10 rebounds and the 4 and 5 assists. And then with the 16 game win streak, you know what I mean? You cannot question that. She's a true champion. She won in South Carolina. She won in high school, won in South Carolina. Amazing coach Don Staley. I love what she's doing at the University of South Carolina. But this young lady is a true champion, and I pay homage to her, and I give her nothing but respect, because she's a class act as well.
Yes. Let me go to Tito. Tito says, give me your top 5 to 7 players that you ever played with. They don't have to be in order.
All right. Cheryl Miller, Pam Paula McGee, LaTanya Pollard, Janet Braxton, Ann Donovan, and I would say Teresa Witherspoon.
Okay. And Miss Cook, Trip has had Tina Hutchinson, Kathy Boswell, and yourself. Who would be a guest they should get on from y'all era?
Repeat that again.
Okay, she just wants to know who's another player from your era that we should bring on as a guest on the show.
If Kathy Boswell has not been on, I love her. That's my sister.
She has. That's what she's saying.
Okay, so she's been on, right?
Yes.
Tina Hutchinson. You can bring on Teresa Edwards. She's another one from Georgia that played alongside of Katrina McClain. All these young ladies would be an asset just to come on your show, because these young ladies were winners, right? and I'm sure they have stories as well. But I know Kathy Boswell is my girl. If Cheryl Miller hasn't been on, I think, like I said, she'll be an asset as well. She'll be able to talk about her time with international competition as well as college. So those young ladies, I think, will fit the bill.
Yeah, we love Kathy Boswell so much, and Cheryl
Yeah,
is like one of our dream guests because we talk about Cheryl Miller,
yeah.
so she's like one of our dream guests. Talk to me about the experience with Pee Wee Kirkland at the Hall of Fame.
They used to call me the female Pee Wee Kirkland because of the 61 points that I scored, the 51 points that I scored in the game. So I was fortunate enough to go into the American Basketball Hall of Fame with him last year. And Netflix was there and they were filming. And so Pee Wee asked me, would I, mind if they filmed us? And since they called me the female Pee Wee Kirkland, and I said I don't mind. So I get a call and they wanted me to come to New York, in which I did, and I did it's his story, his documentary. This is a true legend, and I'm telling you, the best. When you talk about GOATs, he is the best to ever do it. Playground legend. I mean, he has a story. I'm giving him his flowers while he here. So I took great pleasure in just being there to be able to give him his flowers while he here. So I did the interview for Netflix for Mr. Kirkland, and it's coming out soon. So just stay tuned.
Looking forward to that. Big shout out to Pee Wee Kirkland. He was on the show years ago. We had Pee Wee Kirkland on the show. We're gonna have to get him back now though.
But I just spoke with him about 10, 15 minutes ago. Now him and his son, Lil P, we were en route to have a conversation in the studio with Shaq. So they're doing great stuff, and I love it, and like I said, Pee Wee Kirkland is family right now. Always been family. Again, I've been a student of game, been reading about his life story ever since. And, I'm just happy just to be, compared to him on a women's level.
When I met Pee Wee, he was with his son too. So big shout out to both of them.
Yeah.
Ron says Magic Johnson says, oh wait, this is the NBA question. Magic says LeBron is a bad boy, but he ain't Michael Jordan. Have you ever been around Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan played on my 96 pennant ranking game, and when I tell you a class act, he's the GOAT, right? In his era, he's the GOAT. Nothing, I don't take anything from LeBron James, but I had the experience of seeing what Michael can do, watching Michael compete and watching him practice and watching him prepare. Coach Knight was his coach at the time. Charles Barkley was on that team as well, to name a few. But this guy was a class act coming out of North Carolina, and he's the best in my book. And I stamp that.
Shout out to MJ. Pooh wants to know your thoughts on Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in terms of helping the game. And will Juju Watkins be that Jordan-like player?
In regards to Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, they have taken the WNBA by storm, and I appreciate both of those young ladies and what they've given to the women's game. I don't take any of their ability lightly. I think Caitlin has added another dimension. I think Angel Reese has added another dimension. So, I pay homage to those young ladies, and hopefully we did well by paving the way for them to be able to make the money that they're currently making now, the endorsement deals that they're currently making now. So I'm just proud to be a fan, to sit back and just watch, because the WNBA it's only going to get bigger. Juju Watkins, what can we not say about her? Number one pick coming out. I think she's going to take the league over, and she's going to do some great things. And I just wish her a speedy recovery. I'm excited to watch her with the USC Lady Trojans this year.
Absolutely. Okay. Can you describe Lisa Ingram's game?
Lisa Ingram. Yes, she was a Charles Barkley in the ladies realm. Very strong, excellent post player, great trash talker. She knew her ability, but great shooter. She had an all around game as well. But I called her the Charles Barkley. She was the most highly aggressive, very agile for her size. But she was one of the great players as well.
And then, Cheryl, I just got two more questions for you. One from the supporters, and then I'm going to finish it off. I got one last question for you. Pooh says, before you go, who's the best current WNBA player, and who do y'all both like to win it all? She says she's got the Aces, but the Lynx and the Liberty are tough. Stewie got hurt.
I'm going to say Asia Wilson, and I'm going to take Las Vegas Aces to win it all. But other than that, I'm just excited just to be a part of and just to see history being made. Us being able to play on our home turf, getting paid for what we're worth, endorsement deals, being able to fly in private jets. You know what? I'm just hopeful that we, as the old players, open the door for these young ladies just to be successful and to maximize their financial abilities.
Yeah, and as for me, Asia Wilson is the best player in basketball, hands down.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm pulling for the Liberty, but if Stewie doesn't come back, it's going to be very difficult for them to beat Minnesota or the Aces. So in that case, I would go with the Aces because they've been smoking hot.
Yes, they have. And you know what? They're peaking at the right time.
Exactly. And then lastly, Cheryl, just want to know what's going on with you now. Just give us an update. If people do want to reach out to you, do you have your social media?
Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm direct deputy. I'm second in charge. I run a state-ran juvenile prison here for young male offenders, and I've been doing that. I'm almost on my 28th year. I love giving back to young people. These guys have had challenges, and I think that's my calling as well. I just want everybody, and I'm putting a plug out there, and I'm letting everybody know that I want to get into coaching. I want to be a special player development or just a recruiter for one of the WNBA teams. So I'm looking forward to applying to become a member of the WNBA with the Cleveland Rockers. So stay tuned on that. But what I do now is unmatched because, I'm saving lives and I'm hopeful that these young men that sit before me, that I can give them the lessons that my parents gave me, that guess what? Everybody deserves second chances. And I love them and I love what I do. And I'm going to keep doing it until, till God put me on another path going somewhere else.
Well, Cheryl, I would like to thank you so much. I want to give you your flowers now. We appreciate you for coming on to Real Fans, Real Talk and giving us the time to talk about your story and, what's going on right now in the WNBA. So thank you so much.
And if they want to get in contact with me, my name is Cook Cheryl, the number 24 at gmail.com. They can email me. They can call me 216-408-2991. I'm readily available to offer support, to talk to anyone in regards to the game, or you don't necessarily have to talk to me about the game. Just, I'm the encourager. I'm a positive person. And guess what? God bless everybody.
And Cheryl, this is your first time on Real Fans, Real Talk, but I'm hoping it won't be the last.
It won't. I'll be back.
All right.
Absolutely.
Good. Thank you so much. Listen, I'm gonna, guys, again, for everyone that was trying to get on Facebook. Once we get off the air, I'm going to upload the video to Facebook, and so you guys can watch. And we're gonna get ready to talk a little bit of boxing. We got the champ Justin Biggs in the building with us. I want to bring him up in just a second. I just wanted to give Cheryl a chance to give us a final thought before she takes off.
Hey, I'm forever grateful. Thank you guys for having me. And once again, Cook Cheryl, the number 24 at gmail.com. If you want to email me, I'll get right back to you. God bless and thank you, my brother. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, Cheryl. We'll talk soon.
All right.
All right. And Big Time Biggs is in the building, the WBC champ. We're going to be talking about that Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford fight that went down this past Saturday. Once he turns his camera on, we're going to rock and roll and start talking about that fight, give you all the breakdown, let y'all know how Terrence Crawford was able to do what he did, which was basically pick apart Canelo Alvarez and take the belts. He got all them things. So once Justin Biggs is ready, I'm gonna pull him up on camera. Just let me know, Justin, when you are ready. In the meantime, though, before we get into the fight, I do want to send out condolences to Ricky Hatton, former boxing champion. He passed away this weekend as well. So I do want to send condolences out to the family and friends of Ricky Hatton. He was lost this past weekend. So rest in peace to Ricky Hatton. All right, I see Justin Biggs is. You got two windows open, Justin. Hold on 1 second, guys. All right, I got you on the stage. You just gotta turn your camera on. Okay, I see Justin is pulling up now. 1 second. Okay. All right. Justin, can you hear me? All right, just give us a second, guys. I'm going to get Justin Biggs up here in just 1 second. Okay, and then what we're going to break down this fight. Once I can get Justin Biggs up here. Just hang tight for 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to get Justin Biggs up here, and we're going to break down that Canelo Alvarez Terence Crawford fight. We're also going to talk about a couple of fights that are on the horizon, including Jake Paul and Tank. And we'll probably do a little talk about Shakur as well. Hang on 1 second, guys. Okay, so I'm trying to get him back on just a second. Just bear with me. Okay, here we go. Let's see. All right. Justin, can you hear me? All right. Hang on for just a second, guys. Apologies while we get the technical difficulties worked out. And then we're gonna get in. Why is it not letting? It's not letting Justin in. Something is okay. Hang on 1 second, guys. All right. You know what, guys? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end this live, and I'm gonna come back in and create another live. All right. So just bear with me for a second.